We all want Mohamed Salah, Kane, Sergio Aguero, Bruno Fernandes, De Bruyne, in our teams. Even the beginners start their teams by picking well-known players. But to cover up the cost of them, doing some research on budget picks is must, since they will eventually be differential in your team. The best way to save some money is your budget team. Fantasy Premier League turns 49 this season, and here we present you the complete 11 players FPL team for 2020 under the budget of £5 million sterling. Welcome to 18-Yard Soccer. In a season where there is an ominous cluster of premium midfielders priced above £10.5 million, as well as some pricey forwards, the 4.5 million goalkeepers could be more important than ever. For the goalkeeper in our budget team, we've got Matthew Ryan. Despite claiming only 9 clean sheets last season, Brighton's Matthew Ryan was the 8th top-scoring goalkeeper on 135 points. That points tally was 2 more than Edison, 6.0 million, of Manchester City, whose 16 clean sheets earned him the Golden Glove Award. The option to pair Ryan with his deputy David Button, 4.0 million, guarantees you a starting goalkeeper for a total spend of just 8.5 million. Ryan's potential for both save and bonus points further boosts his appeal as the go-to option in the budget bracket. Indeed, he is currently the most owned goalkeeper under 5.0 million, sitting in 21.1% of squads. Talking about defenders, the budget defender's position in Fantasy Premier League is probably the one that requires the most planning, due to the fact you are likely to have at least 2 to 4 of them, and rotation planning for optimal fixtures is key in fantasy football. We will scurry through the list for you and pick out the best budget defenders in the 4 to 5 million price range. So at first up we've got John Egan, £5 million defender for Sheffield United. The defender has been a big part of the Blades' excellent top-flight return, which saw them rub shoulders with the top 6 for large parts of the season, and he gradually became a popular choice for dream team managers looking for a cost-effective solution in defense, with 13 clean sheets last season and 133 FPL points, enabling him successfully in 17.2% of squads. Surprisingly, we've got Ruben Vinagre for our next defender. The Portuguese looks set for an extended run in Wolves' starting 11 following an injury to first-choice left wing-back Johnny. Johnny is expected to be sidelined for a number of months after recently sustaining knee ligament damage against Sevilla in the UEFA Europa League. Costing just 4.5 million, Vinagre can offer a cut-price route into a Wolves defence who excelled in the later part of last season. Lewis Dunk. The Brighton captain is one of the most kept budget players with 5 million. Among his strengths are his ability to score headers and to use his physicality to cushion the ball for his teammates. However, Dunk's through passes this season have been incredible, and he has produced some breathtaking defense-splitting balls from the backline, which have led to goals. James Justin can be one of the preferable defenders for your budget team. Justin isn't the youngest player we're tipping to succeed, but he is the youngest who is being asked to lead a defense. Leicester City are in trouble, with Ben Chilwell sold to Chelsea and Ricardo Pereira still recovering from a serious injury. James was asked to deputies at right back and held his own. He'll own the role until Ricardo Pereira returns, and this defense will get stronger. The 2 young defenders could be the core of Leicester's next great back four, starting as early as game week 1. Midfielders have the highest points potential of any position in FPL, with the top scoring player for the last 4 seasons being midfielders. This is because, in FPL, even wingers are classified as midfielders, and hence they have more opportunities to gain points in different ways. As a result, premium midfielders are higher priced than premium assets of other positions. FPL managers are, therefore, always on the lookout for cheap options in midfield to complete their squads. On that note, let's now take a look at 4 budget midfielders who you should consider including in your FPL team. At 5.0 million, West Ham United midfielder Thomas Soucek is the cheap option for midfielder list. He should be used as an enabler to free up funds to sign more expensive assets or to fill in as a starter when one of the regular starters has a temporary niggle or a tough fixture. Soucek arrived at the London Stadium from Slavia Prague this summer and made an instant impact for David Moyes' side. The Czech Republic international scored 3 goals and was a source of goal threat from set pieces. He is one of the rare 5.0 million midfielders who has a fair chance of finding the net. And he could be very useful for FPL managers. Arni Ceballos is a prime example of a player who is outperforming his price tag. The Arsenal playmaker made a big impression on his first start in the Premier League, guiding the Gunners to a 3-1 win at home to Burnley in Game Week 2. His 2 assists and 11 FPL points in that match turned the heads of many fantasy managers. He is the 6th most bought midfielder in the game, and is one of many cut-price players in his position catching the eye of the experts. Defensive midfielders are always tough ones to include in fantasy football teams, but Calvin Phillips has all the potential to be a player who regularly hits bonus tier passing and tackling points. Phillips has been a key part of this Bielsa team, and his form in the Championship led to Southgate going to Elland Road to assess his performance. A good season in the Premier League could well see him included in England's Euro 2021 squad. He is that good. He may have only scored 2 goals and assisted a further 2 last season, but his real strengths are elsewhere, and the bonus tier points is where we're targeting with Phillips. The midfielder averaged 2.6 successful tackles per 90 minutes while his average passes per game stood at 54.9. They may be just below the threshold needed, but he hit tier 1 level, 3 or more tackles on 7 occasions last season. Stephens is the most owned 4.5 million mid, with 15% TSP, and can be favorable for your fantasy budget team. Stephens has been a regular starter for Brighton over the past 3 seasons in the PL. He even captained the team in their Game Week 19 fixture versus Spurs, as Dunk was out injured. Stephens was subbed on for Bissouma in the 62nd minute in Brighton's friendly against Chelsea. It's tempting to start building an FPL team around the forwards. After all, those are the ones that get you goals. And goals mean points. Points mean prizes. Still, there has to be a shrewdness about who to choose. You don't just go out and throw all your money at the most expensive striker. With the below £5 million bench fodder options, we can see there aren't really many options at all. There are currently only 2 possible strikers for your budget team in that range in the Fantasy Premier League game. The first possible option for a budget striker under 5 million could be Keenan Davis, who saw a bit of playing time at the end of last season, starting 4 games in Villa's last 11 games. He also came on as a substitute in the games in which he was benched. The next possible option could be Ryan Brewster. He has long been tipped as a future England striker. He played on the country's under-17 World Cup winning team in 2017. And there's no doubt he is a natural goal scorer. The young striker might go out on loan again, but this time to a Premier League club. For the second half of last season, he played at second-tier Swansea and scored 11 goals in 22 games. He won't be short of takers. Honestly, looking through the entire 11 fantasy team under the budget of 5 million isn't really an easy way. Sorting 5 million and below is really a good budget option. Saving behind 50 million around. Having such a huge amount safe on your bank, you can now easily go ahead for the best available player for your FPL team 2020. Thank you for watching. Let us know any players under the 5 million budget we ought to include in our comment section below. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and go ahead and subscribe to 18 Yard Soccer.